Episode 361, ESRI warns highly skilled Irish jobs at risk from AI.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
1 in every 14 jobs in Ireland could be displaced by artificial intelligence in the coming years, according to new research from the Economic and Social Research Institute and the Department of Finance, published last week. But the headline number is not the real story. The real story is who is at risk, because it's not the workers you might expect. Hello and welcome back to AI6. I'm Joanne Sweeney, your host, and we are approaching 400 episodes because I am on a mission to upskill 500,000 people in artificial intelligence 6 minutes a day. For decades, we've been told that automation mainly replaces low-skilled work. But this report from the ESRI points in a different direction. It finds that AI adoption among Irish firms is likely to lead to job losses concentrated among highly educated, higher-paid white-collar workers. In the central scenario, the ESRI estimates that around 7% of current jobs in Ireland, roughly 1 in 14, could be displaced in the short to medium term. That is based on modelling of current AI adoption patterns in Irish firms. Karina Durley, one of the report's authors, has said the effect of AI on the labour market and on the distribution of income is still highly uncertain. But across the scenarios they publish, the direction of travel is the same. Job losses fall hardest on higher skilled, higher paid roles. And this matters especially for Ireland. Back in episode 291, when we covered the Microsoft AI Diffusion report, showing that Ireland ranks 4th in the world for AI adoption, with 45% of our working age population reporting that they use generative AI tools, we know that we're already one of the most AI active workforces on the planet. So the question of what happens as that adoption accelerates is actually real for us. So who is exposed? Whose jobs are threats? In the ESRI modelling, general and admin clerks face projected job losses of about 18%. Customer-facing and service roles are also heavily exposed. Customer service assistants face losses of around 14 to 15%, and business and administration professionals about 11%. ICT professionals are close behind with projected losses of almost 14%. So these aren't factory floor jobs. These are people writing reports, managing data, handling requests, and maintaining digital systems. On the other side, some occupations show little or no projected job losses from AI adoption in the ESRI's central scenarios. Health professionals have essentially zero projected job displacement from AI. Builders less than 1%. Electrical trade workers about 2%. So the pattern is clear. If your job involves structured data, routine communications, or codifiable expertise, you're in the exposure zone. If your work requires physical presence, human judgment in unpredictable environments, or hands-on roles, you are substantially safer, at least in the time to come. And that is a paradox. So the jobs that we have historically undervalued are proving to be some of the most resilient in the AI age. The knowledge work we've spent decades elevating is now facing the sharpest disruption. And I've always been honest about this. I've seen that as a knowledge worker, as a consultant, a coach, a trainer, I've seen my own business and my own potential and my own value being diluted and at threat. And that's why I have had to deliberately over the past 3 years rethink and reimagine what my value is in the AI age. And it's one of the first questions that I ask in my Zoom rooms, in my classrooms, in the boardrooms. What is the value that you're bringing in the AI age? Because if we do not understand that, if we cannot answer that question, if we cannot be precise about what we're bringing to organizations, to our clients, to our stakeholders, then we are potentially at risk. But there's also an inequality question. For those who keep their jobs, the report suggests average wages are likely to rise, reflecting productivity gains from AI tools. And that's positive until you read the next finding. Across all the AI adoption scenarios the ESRI and the Department of Finance examine, they find a small to moderate increase in household income inequality. Job losses, wage increases for those who stay in work, and higher capital income together widen the gap between richer and poorer households. Things like profits and investment income are expected to increase, but with disproportionate benefits going to higher income households who hold most capital assets. So basically, the people who own the companies deploying AI capture most of the productivity gains. The people whose jobs are displaced risk falling further behind. In the ESRI central scenario, the combined effect is an overall decline in average household disposable income in the short term because job losses outweigh wage gains. Sorcha O'Connor of the Department of Finance said the findings highlight the importance of upskilling, retraining, and lifelong learning to smooth the AI transition. She also stressed that widespread adoption of AI is likely to boost productivity and raise living standards in the longer term, but only if the benefits are broadly shared. And so AI is not a future scenario for Ireland. It's here. Some people may already be feeling the effects of it, positively and maybe negatively. And so what should you do? Adopt AI, but rethink and reimagine the value of your business, of your public service, because you don't want AI to take your job. You want AI to augment your job and you to be front and center of that job. That's it for today's show. If you're ready to turn these insights into skills, here's how I can help. Get your copy of my book, AI Playbook, on Amazon. It's the perfect companion to the show. For weekly AI strategy, subscribe to my newsletter, Human in the Loop, on LinkedIn. Or if you want to take the next big step, you can take our CPD accredited professional diploma in AI. Maybe you need something more tailored for your organisation. You can book a call in my calendar at digitaltraining.ie. Or if you work in government or public sector, go over to publicsectormarketingpros.com. If you found this episode useful, please share it with a pro that you know. And I'd love to read your comments on Spotify. And if you can, take a second to like, rate, or subscribe wherever you listen. It really helps the show. This is AI6. I'll talk to you on the next episode.